Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Open Mic Podcast. Open Mic Podcast. This episode is unofficially brought to you by Liquid Death. Liquid Death, murder your thirst. Do a 187 on your thirst. Do a body slam on your thirst. Suplex your thirst. Tombstone pile driver your thirst. Whatever you want. Whatever you want to do. Crush your thirst with Liquid Death. And if you like iced tea and you like things sweet and spicy, try the Sweet Reaper iced tea, Murder Your Thirst, Liquid Death, unofficially the sponsor of the Open Mic Podcast. So we're going to do Friday is the 4th of July. And so I wanted to do a podcast because I'll be busy. I'll be busy with the 4th of July festivities and then be busy this weekend. So I'm like, you know what? I'm do a Thursday episode of the Open Mic Podcast. So here we are. Hope everybody's had a good week so far. Weather's been nice. I spent a couple hours a day cleaning up the ride. There's usually usually there's a car show for the 4th. So I was gonna get my ride cleaned up. It needed to be cleaned up anyway, but I got the ride cleaned up. Got the seats shampooed, everything clean, all the carpets clean, everything's clean, engine bay's done. We ready to go. So yeah, I'm probably gonna hit the 4th of July car show tomorrow and go out there and sweat a little bit. It's been warm, but it hasn't been as humid as it has been the last few weeks. So got a workout in this evening, so a little tired, a little sore, but that's all right. So just hope everybody had a good week so far. Hope everybody enjoys their 4th. Stay safe. Don't blow off no fingers. Don't blow off no hands. Don't do nothing dumb. I know every year we always hear about some fireworks, you know, accidents. And I remember there was a player for the New York Giants. Man, what was his name? He blew like 2.5 fingers off or something like that one year. He played football for the Giants. What the hell was that guy's name? I can't remember his name. He let's see. Yeah, he lost a couple fingers. What was his name? Go to the Google machine, see what it is. Jason Pierre-Paul. Yeah, he blew off like that shit looks crazy. There's pictures of his hand. Yeah, he lost like 2.5 fingers of another one or something. Or they're like nubs, basically. Like 3 of his fingers are like nubs. What the hell, man? I remember I used to play with fireworks back in the day, especially like firecrackers and cherry bombs and all that stuff. And I remember one time I'd found a pack. Man, my dad always kept sparklers and firecrackers when we were kids, always in his drawer. I don't know where he was getting them from, but I tried to be slick one night and got a pack of firecrackers out. And I was like, man, I'm going to go outside and let these things off in the middle of the night for no damn reason other than just be a little shit. So I ran out there and grabbed a firecracker. I grabbed a lighter. I lit it. Man, that thing fused on that. They must have been old. Fuse on that thing was quick. Man, no sooner than I lit it and threw it, it went off. Man, I remember my ear rang, dude. I couldn't say anything to my parents because, you know, that I was afraid I'd get in trouble. But I was like deaf. I was scared, man. I was like, man, I done lost my damn hearing, man. I was checking my ears to make sure I wasn't bleeding. Of course, it came back, but uh, yeah, we used to take like M80s and shit. We'd put them in like cans or pots and all. I see that stuff on videos now. Like a buddy of mine had a quarter stick of dynamite one time. Not good, man. Not good. Can't be playing around with that stuff because that's dangerous, especially a quarter stick of dynamite. That's dangerous. But we used to do all kinds of stuff, man. We used to take bottle rockets, break the sticks off, and then them things just kind of fly wherever you don't know where they're going. smoke bombs. We did all kinds of crazy stuff when we were kids. We didn't have much going on around here. A lot of hoodlum stuff. Uh, but yeah, man, anybody celebrating the 4th tomorrow, cooking out, grilling out, swimming, whatever, just be safe. If you're going to do some fireworks, be safe, man. Uh, I feel like every year something happens or something tragic happens, and I always hate, I hate when you read stories about, like people just don't think sometimes, and it's not that they're like, that are absent-minded or they're ignorant. Ignorance like lack of knowledge, but I don't want to use the word stupid or dumb or whatever. People just don't. Sometimes they just don't think. Right? They're just innocent, and fireworks is people think, yeah, it's nothing to it, and it is, right? And another thing I always hear about is like when people have generators and like say the power goes out, whether it's summer from a storm or like a winter storm or whatever, and these people get these generators and they'll run them in their house, and then they don't wake up, and it's like whole family would be killed from like carbon monoxide poisoning because they decide to run the generator in the basement. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, there's warnings on this stuff that tells you not to do that, right? So why do people still do that? I don't know. I don't know, like, if people just think, well, that's a warning. We're only going to run it overnight, right? It's not that many hours. It's probably not going to bother us or it won't happen to us. And it kind of goes like, and I still see stories of people leaving their children in the car, like when it's hot. And you see that stuff and it bothers you, but when you're a parent, it bothers you even more. And I used to pass judgment. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'd be like, how in the hell could you forget your kid? There's like sensors in cars now that remind you to check the back seat. And then I've heard people say, like, they get in the car, they'll take their shoe and put it in the back seat. So when they park and get out, they have to go in the back seat to get the shoe. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, if you have children, right, what the hell kind of parent are you to forget you have a child in the back seat? Well, yeah, I used to pass judgment. And then when you become a parent and your life is like really hectic or really busy, or say one parent usually always takes the kid to school or they're always taking, and then say for whatever reason, there's a couple days in a week where say the other parent now has to do that and they're not used to doing that, right? It's not part of their daily routine. We're creatures of habit, we're creatures of routine. And so if the other parent never really does it and then they're all of a sudden like, okay, a couple mornings they got to do it, I could see where they get used to that routine. What the hell? No, what's going on? They get used to that routine and then they forget their child's in the car and they go to work and park the car and whatever. And then next thing you know, the kid dies because they left it in a car, and or somebody abducts the child, and they left the kid in the car. I shouldn't say it, but they left the kid in the car. And it's like, yeah, I could understand that. Um, so I still like, there's just when, especially if the kid's asleep early in the morning or the kid falls asleep when you're driving and there's no sound. But hey, man, people got to do what they got to do. And if you have to take your shoe off and throw it in the back seat as a reminder your kid's there, I'm not going to say anything negative about that ever again. Going into Walmart, I've seen signs like, is your kid? Did you check on your kid? Whatever, man. It's the world we're in. And I'd rather have more warning signs, more warnings and stuff than less because, I'd hate for someone to leave their child in the car and then have to deal with that, knowing that they killed their kid or whatever. And then sometimes people just like, I saw a lady the other day, I think it was on Instagram. She had left her kid in the car to go inside to gamble at a at some casino, and somebody saw the kid and called the police. And it's like, man, that's someone that has a problem, right? Because I feel like you have an addiction. You shouldn't take your kid in there, so you leave your kid out. But I just don't. I can't imagine how someone. And the woman said, "Well, I kept coming out checking on him every like 30 minutes." That's stupid, man. That is stupid. That's a terrible parent. And but if they had to choose to go gambling over with the child and put the child's life at risk to go gambling, then you have a gambling problem. You have an addiction. You need to get help. I remember in the movie Uncle Buck. I don't know if anyone remembers that movie from the '80s. John Candy, who was a great actor, very funny. He played in a movie called Uncle Buck, and he was the uncle. And his brother's wife's father had gotten sick, had either had a heart attack, died, or whatever. Anyway, they had to go travel, and they didn't. They were leaving the kids, so they called, Uncle Buck to come sit and watch with him. And he doesn't have kids, right? And doesn't. And there's a time when there's a scene in the movie where he's going to go to the casino or the horse track because he has a gambling problem, and he puts the kids in the car and he's driving there. And then he gets there and he kind of looks in the mirror and he sees the kids and he realizes, like, I'm a terrible person. I think he owed some guy some money or whatever, so he was kind of down on his luck. But um, yeah, man, I try not to pass judgment on people because we all make mistakes, and there's things we all have absent-minded um, moments in our life where we just don't think, or we have so much on our mind it kind of clouds our judgment or whatever. And so I'll never pass judgment on somebody. But if you're doing something and like, I know I'm going to leave my kid in the car, I'll come back and check on him periodically. That's a problem, and you need help. So um yeah, that's terrible. But I can see, like, after being a parent and everything you go through and all the stuff you have to do. And I mean, it's a lot, with your job and everything. It's always a lot on my mind, right? And but I would never leave my kid in the car. Like, that would never happen. I don't think I would ever forget my child. I mean, I'm always looking in my rearview mirror, when I have my kid with me. So I'm always looking in my rearview mirror, checking and uh, communicating and playing and singing and everything else. So I don't, hopefully that never happens to me. But accidents happen, and man, why does this thing keep doing this? Why do you keep dropping like that? This is annoying. I don't know why that keeps happening. Maybe I ain't meant the podcast today or something. I don't know. But yeah, man, I didn't. I haven't been very active this week on socials, and I posted a few clips from last week's podcast where I sang a song. So maybe I'll sing another song for everybody this week. I don't know, but I didn't get much feedback on the new segment I wanted to start, where I talk about talk about some odd uh call what's up with that, where I talk about some odd stories, some odd headlines. But maybe you guys liked it, maybe didn't, but we're gonna keep it going. So um I think we're gonna get into that right now. New segment. What's up with that? You know what I'm saying?
Wait. What the hell? Oh my God. What the dog doing?
What the dog doing? Hold on, man. This damn camera's starting to piss me off. Hold on. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what that's all about, man. Something's up with this. Something's up with this thing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. We'll keep on going. Anyway, try this again. We did a segment last week where I read odd and weird news headlines. So, like, wait, what's up? What's up with that?
Wait. What the hell? God. What the dog doing?
What the dog doing? Let's see. Weird headlines. Let's go. Man tries to rob bank with an avocado, claims it's a grenade. Yes, you heard that right. A man in Israel attempted to rob two banks by threatening tellers with an avocado. He claimed it was a grenade and demanded cash. How in the hell? I mean, I guess you could act like you got a grenade, but as soon as you show it to everybody, they're going to see it's a damn avocado. Police later said the man had painted the avocado black, which I feel like most of them are dark green, almost black anyway, which raises a question. This a bank robbery or a Pinterest craft project? Anyway, who in the hell is going to try to rob a bank with a grenade? That's wild. And it was in Israel, which is even weirder. Yeah. What's up with that? What the hell? Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's find another one. Bee tornado swarms Manhattan. Massive swarm of bees forms a tornado in Midtown Manhattan. Imagine walking into Midtown and you see bees spiraling like a little cyclone. This happened in New York City with a witness calling it a biblical plague. And one suit saying it was her biggest nightmare come alive as part of the wave of bizarre swarms, mayflies in Ohio, sand fleas in Florida. So what's up with that? Yeah, what's up with that, man? Biblical plague? What was that? Is that like locusts? I don't know much about the Bible. I'm not gonna lie. I'm spiritual. I have beliefs. I have never read the Bible, and that's probably alarming or shocking to some people. Um, Here we go. German president watches diapered raw chickens confound cathedral audience. What in the hell? In Germany, the president and other dignitaries were left stunned in a cathedral about raw chickens in diapers. Featherless birds wearing diapers. Cathedral officials scrambled to explain, how do you diaper a chicken? A raw chicken? Like, did they kill them, or were they just featherless? Like they were alive? I'm confused. I need, what the hell? Like, what's up with that, man? There's a lot of questions left at that headline. Um, Bone collector caterpillar. Newly discovered bone collector caterpillar wears its victims as creepy couture. A newly found caterpillar literally dresses in the bones of its victims. Talk about high fashion horror. It covers itself in bits of exoskeleton like some kind of insect goth model. Silent Hill is nothing on moth fashion. Anybody ever play Silent Hill on PlayStation? That game was scary as hell. People always talking about Resident Evil. I think Silent Hill. I don't know what the hell. Some kind of caterpillar. It's like Silence of the Lambs caterpillar. What the hell was that dude's name in that movie? Now we got a caterpillar version of that guy, Hannibal Lecter. And he had a quirky nickname for a caterpillar. But Silent Hill, man, Silent Hill was a scary ass game. I remember playing that game, man. My face would get all flush and red and shit. That game was creepy. Resident Evil wasn't nothing on that. It was just like zombies and shit. That was cool. There wasn't a lot of like jump scares. Silent Hill, man, was that game was creepy as hell. Let's see. Let's try one more. One more. One more. One more. One more. One more weird segment. Town elects goat as mayor again. Where in the hell is this? In the sleepy town of Fairhaven, Vermont, A goat named Lincoln was reelected as honorary mayor. Apparently, the goat beat out a dog and a cat in a tight race. Democracy in action. What's up with that, man? I can't be no. As bad as it is, a goat might be better than what we got in politics right now. Because don't even get me started on that stuff. Can't damn sure can't do no worse. Anyway, Manhattan Bee tornadoes, diaper chickens interrupting church service, bone clad caterpillars. Man, that's some weird segments. Weird news articles. Weird and bizarre news, that's for sure. And this segment is called Wait, what? What's up with that?
Wait. What the hell? Oh my God. What the dog doing?
All right, man. Like we always do. Like we always do about this time. We're going to take a little stroll down memory lane. We're going to talk about candies from my childhood. And I don't know if anybody remembers any of these candies, but candies from the 80s and the 90s. And most candy, for the most part, kind of stayed the same. Like M&Ms and Reese Cups and Snickers and all that stuff. It's not going anywhere, but they keep changing, especially M&Ms, man. They're always coming out with new flavors and uh like I like just plain old chocolate M&Ms or the peanut butter M&Ms, but people are always I mean they're always coming out with different flavors. Like even Reese peanut butter cup, I see they started adding jelly to it, like strawberry and grape, and I tried it, of course, and it's not that good. Um, But I remember when I was a kid, we used to go visit this lady that was up the street from my parents' house, and she always had I can't remember what they called it. It was like a little round chocolate, almost like a chocolate drop, and it was covered in like these white like white not sprinkles, but it was kind of I can't. They began with an N, I think. All right, man. I don't know what the hell is going on. A lot of technical difficulties tonight, but anyway. Candies from my childhood. So, does everybody remember Boston baked beans? Man, Boston baked beans were so good, and the box looked like a little brick, and they were basically candy. There was peanuts. They were candy coated peanuts, but they looked like baked beans. Um, I remember when I was a kid, man, my mom's mom, my grandma, we called her Nanny. She worked at this little store, and they used to have the candies made by Ferrera Candy Company, which is out of New England, I think. But they made like red hots. Y'all remember the little red hots? So they were basically like red hots were red hots were like these little literally just little round I mean they were hot. Like cinnamon basically. And they were called red hots. That same company made those too. Red hots are pretty good too. But Boston baked beans, I'll post pictures up so everybody can there'll be pictures up there. What's going on here? Man, nothing is wanting to work tonight. I don't know what in the world is going on. Chico stick. Y'all remember Chico sticks? Man, those things. I haven't seen a Chico stick in so long. Those things are good. It was like kind of reminded me of a Butterfinger. Just it wasn't no chocolate. It was kind of like coconut Chico stick. Mallow cups, which was like a peanut Reese peanut butter cup, but it was marshmallow. Man, nothing is working, dude. What in the hell? Everything keeps freezing. Why does this keep happening? God almighty. Bazooka bubblegum, like that's still around. Big League Chew, Bit-O Honey. Man, I like some Bit-O Honeys though. I remember going trick or treating bottle caps. That's a good one. It was like flavored like different types of soda. Kind of like a Smartie, but it was like soda flavored. Those are good. Who remembers candy cigarettes, man? I remember we used to get them damn candy cigarettes. And the boxes, it was like they looked just like, and there was even some like you blow, and it was like little dust came off, looked like it was smoking. And then they had cigars too, but the cigars was like chewing gum. But them candy cigarettes were, um, they were not good at all. It was like a chalky flavor. It was just, I don't know. We wanted to mimic smoking for some reason. I don't know why. As kids, you like want to act like you're smoking. Um, I remember smoking used to be like a social thing. Like it was kind of like the cool thing to do, you know. Charleston chews, oh man, love me some Charleston chews. Cow's tails, those are good. Caramel with like a cream center inside. Cow's tails are good. I remember I was eating a mallow cup one day. We was going outside. We was outside the track supply. I dropped that damn thing on the ground. You know, all these farmers coming there with, you know, whatever all over their boots. I didn't give a damn. I picked that thing up, blew it off, and ate it. My buddy was like, "Man, I can't believe you did that." I said, "I guarantee I've had far worse in my mouth." You know what I'm saying? I was not wasting that mallow cup. If it was a peanut butter cup, I'm just not wasting. I'm just not wasting that stuff. What are some candies you guys chew or ate? Chewed. What are some candies you guys ate from your childhood? What was your go-to? I always loved Snickers, man. Snickers was my thing when I was a kid. I still like Snickers, but I don't buy candy much. I mean, I will run to the store and get some M&Ms sometimes, or I like whatchamacallit, man. Whatchamacallit is good. I feel like that's a very underrated candy. You don't never hear anything about, or like 100 grand. 100 grand was good candy. Well, nothing's wanting to work tonight, man. I'm getting really getting irritated. Chuckles. I'm not big on like a lot of people like chewy candy or like sour candy, uh, like warheads and all that stuff. I'm not big on that. I did like Jolly Ranchers when I was a kid, man. Jolly Ranchers like watermelon or the cinnamon. I did like the cinnamon or the green apple. Watermelon, green apple were like the go to, but I did like cinnamon. I like cinnamon, man. I like cinnamon candy. Plus, it kind of helps your breath. Like your breath doesn't really, your breath smells kind of good after that. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to the confectionery store or like it was a store in town that sold like stuff for like bacon and whatever, and you could get like the cinnamon like flavor. Um, it was like liquid, right? And people used to put the toothpicks in there. Like you can buy cinnamon flavored toothpicks, but we used to put them in there. And I remember these kids had these stupid challenges in school where they would see like who could drink that stuff, and it was potent. It's like I feel like all the time, man, people are always coming up with like ways of trying to die. It's like the cinnamon challenge. Y'all remember that? Like kids were like people were putting like whole spoonfuls of cinnamon in their mouth and then trying not to gag. Man, that will mess you up, dude. Do not go in the home and do that because it gets in your airways and like it will choke you up. Um, that's it. Anybody's ever choked or anything, like I used to get exercise induced asthma. Like I never had asthma my whole life, and there was a few times I'd work out, and if I went like really hard, I would notice I would have these coughing fits, and it felt like something was in my throat. And I never paid much attention to it because it didn't happen that often. I just chucked it up to get dirt in my throat or something in the air or whatever. And I remember we were doing a there was a charity rugby event one year. And it was cold. It was pretty cool outside. It was around no around Thanksgiving time, and so the parents and the kids would play like two hand touch rugby. They'd get like 4 or 5 teams together. They do this little like round robin tournament or whatever, and it was for raise money for charity. And at that time, I hadn't really been running much. Like I used to run. I used to do 3 miles like 2 days a week, and I'd work out all the other days. And I used to do a lot of wind sprints and a lot of quarter-mile sprints and all that stuff. And I don't. I just slowed down, right? I mean, you just life changes, and knees don't wouldn't like that now anyway. So I went to this charity rugby event, and I was running around for probably 10, 15 minutes straight. Rugby's just it's nonstop action. So yeah, I was still in good shape, but I hadn't been running, hadn't been doing anything that active. And after about 15 minutes, I was like, hey, I'm gonna take a break. And man, that exercise induced asthma hit me, and the cold air makes it worse. And man, I thought I was gonna die. Man, I seriously thought it was gonna take me to the emergency room because I could not stop coughing. Like every time you take a breath in, it's like. So eventually, my doctor put me on like a little inhaler, and he was like, "Anytime you're gonna work out or do anything, just take a puff." And I've stopped using. I have not used that thing in a while, which is I probably should use it. But if I'm just in the gym, if I'm walking, I got weighted vest on or whatever. Like it's strenuous, but it's not like full bore, right? Like on an exercise scale 1 to 10, I'm probably about like a 6, right? Like walking's vigorous, but it's not. I just do it to get my heart rate up a little bit and just stay active, and I feel like that's better than nothing. Now I will kick the elevation up, and that makes it a little bit harder. But plus with the weighted vest on, it's my heart rate after about 10, 15 minutes, I don't I take meds for AFib that keeps my heart rate regulated and lower, so it's hard to get my heart rate like way up. I'd have to go like super hard um, to get it up there, and I don't sprint and do all that stuff anymore. I will get on a stair climber from time to time, walk do the stairs, but um, yeah, I just try to stay, just try to stay healthy. So right now, walking is probably the best thing for me, especially for my joints. So I just try to stay healthy. And I know I was on Instagram earlier, and they were talking about like body shaming, like body positivity. It's a big thing now, and it's like people like body positivity basically enables people to be obese or overshape, out of basically obese, overweight, or out of shape, whatever. And I think the body positivity thing was to like so people weren't so hard on themselves. Like so people weren't always saying negative things because they want to say like, hey, you're not defined by how you look or how much you weigh or whatever, right? That's originally what body positivity is to me. And I think a lot of people in this fitness world use it as like, no, it's just you making an excuse to be, fat or obese or out of shape or whatever. And these fitness people, like everybody looks at bodybuilders, for instance, right? They see these guys, they got a lot of muscle, they're jacked, they're huge, they're all on steroids, they're all on a bunch of crap. You ever look at their diets, it's usually bland, boring as hell. And everybody's like, "Oh, they're so in shape." You think they're in shape because they have like 2% body fat, and they go through all this stuff. And anybody listening that's a bodybuilder, don't take offense to this. Like, but if shoe fits, I guess you're gonna wear it. Most of those people are not in shape, right? Like, they don't do anything to like get their heart rate elevated in that area where it's like where it becomes like it's more like a cardiovascular, workout. They'll walk, but they'll walk slow as hell for like an hour, like super slow. And plus people are trying to tell me, "Oh, I'm healthy, I'm this," but you're putting like steroids and growth hormone and all this synthetic shit in your body, telling somebody you're healthy. Actually, you're not. You're probably no healthier than you were when you were overweight. Like that's the God's honest truth. And people, I'm probably gonna rub people the wrong way, and I'm happy to debate this with someone. But you can't tell me, well, I'm a model of health if you're on a bunch of drugs, especially drugs that are not legal. It's illegal. So, there's guys shooting up insulin and doing all kinds of stuff. They'll use amphetamines and everything else. And, people are like, oh, I'm in the best shape of my life. When you probably, yeah, you might be lean, you might have, muscle and you can see it. But does that really mean you're healthy? No, because I can show you somebody that's bigger and carries a little bit more body fat. It's not healthy to be 1 or 2% body fat anyway. That's not even normal for us. and all the stuff you have to go through to dehydrate your body and do all this stuff for show prep. And it's cool, man. People love to do that, but don't try to argue with me and tell me I'm in the best shape of my life when you probably couldn't jog a mile and without feeling like you're gonna die. And a lot of those people think they have a right to judge others who choose to not want to work out and don't care how they look. They're happy with their body and they're happy in their lives and they just want to be that way. And hey, man, so be it. I'm not body shaming nobody. It's just so many double standards in this world, in the whole like fitness industry. And I feel like social media has made that way worse because you have way more access to a lot of stuff. And then I hear people talking, and it's like, what the hell? You don't even know what you're talking about. Talking about like you work out and you're trying to get your glycogen, I can't even talk. Anyway, they're like talking about the glycemic index, and it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, after you work out, you need some carbs to get your insulin back up because that helps you. You don't want your insulin levels to be low. You want to get your insulin level up because it helps start getting the body going. I don't know. So many people talk about so much, and I just feel like they don't know what the hell they're talking about. A lot of people's like, "Well, I'm certified X, Y, and Z." Well, a lot of people are certified and licensed to do things they probably shouldn't be doing. There's a difference in being certified and being qualified. You can be qualified without being certified, and you can be certified without being qualified. So I'd rather have someone that qualifies. Anybody can go to class, memorize things, take a test, right? But not learn a damn thing. All you did was memorize information doesn't mean you actually learned anything. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I can say, all right, I want you to read these two paragraphs and I'm gonna give you a week and then we're gonna take a test in a week and the test is gonna be based off those two paragraphs. Well, you can remember that. Like a lot of people read, like you're just reading, right? You're remembering, but you're not learning. You're just memorizing things. You're not really retaining the information, or you're not like you're just not reading it. You're not taking it in. You're just kind of like a robot, and you're just reading it, memorized. So a lot of people do that, like college and school and stuff. So to get I was a certified personal trainer, and I was also qualified. So um, I did it part time. And so, uh, I went to college and got my certification to a college was an 8 week course. And a lot of people go to these like 1 day seminars and they're like, yeah, I got my certification in 1 day. I just don't know how. Like the instructor we had for our class, like they made us run through these exercises and we had to put together a program. Like she made us do so much stuff and it was a very in depth, and I went over a lot of kinesiology. I went to college to be a teacher actually, so I took a lot of kinesiology courses, and I took biology, like 3 semesters of like human anatomy, not biology. I took 3 semesters of human anatomy back to back, and then 1 semester of advanced human anatomy. Like I was in class with like doctors and stuff because I was going to college to be a teacher for health and physical fitness. So you had to know all this stuff. And yeah, I've forgotten a lot of this stuff now. But exercise, man, with exercise, it's less is more. People try to do too much, and a lot of trainers try to do too much. And I see it in the gym all the time, man. These trainers, these guys are young. These people are young, and they haven't been around long enough to know like really anything. But everybody has to start somewhere, right? And that's fine. You're entry level, and you'll learn as you go. But I've seen them take like someone that's trying to lose some weight, they're obese, they're whatever, and they'll have them doing um like calf raises, and it's like somebody like that, like you have to get their body moving and they should be doing like compound exercises that work more than one muscle at once. Like calf raises is an isolated exercise, and most people that are big, that carry extra weight, their calves and their legs are probably big, right? Like you're not going to spot reduce that. You can work on that specific muscle, but when it comes to losing fat and losing weight, like it usually starts head and goes down. So that's why people, when they lose a lot of weight, the first thing you notice their face, it kind of looks sunk in, and then their neck, and it literally works its way. Like you can't spot reduce. Your body's going to get rid of fat and water wherever it's at. Like, and you don't have no choice in that. It's just going to pick it, and but it usually starts here and goes down. Um, but yeah, when I see him taking someone who clearly needs to be getting their heart rate elevated, like getting it up, and then kind of sustaining it, like, and then I see a guy have somebody doing like calf raises and concentration curls. And it's like, no, no, they should. That should not be in their program. That should not be in their program. You need compound exercises. You need movements. I mean, it's so simple, man. It's such a simple thing, and I think a lot of people overthink it. Or in this case, this person training got someone doing isolated exercises. They just don't know any better. And a lot of gyms, I'll tell you this from working for a corporate gym as a personal trainer, they tell you, like, they lay a script out for you, right? Like people are probably gonna hate me. Like anybody in the fitness industry right now that's a personal trainer and they're in a corporate gym is probably not gonna like me saying this, but they have a script. And they're probably not all gyms are like this, but the one I worked for was, and um the name rhymed with olds. And so they had a script. So anybody that came in that signed up for personal training, they would basically tell you, all right, this you're going to start them on these machines, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you weren't allowed basically to just run them through a program you wanted to put together because they wanted to draw them in, right, and make them sign up for like six. Like they wanted you to do just enough to keep them coming back. And I get it, you're in the business of making money, but shouldn't if you're seeking to get results and help these people, won't the money then come like from that though? Right? If they're getting results, they're going to keep coming back. If you're just kind of half-assing saying, well, we're not going to really train them, we're just going to give them a little bit, that's might not be enough to get them to keep signing up and keep coming back. And then they wanted us to push, like this specific gym I worked for wanted us to push the supplements, right? And I'm like, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not pushing supplements. Like I just, I don't think much of supplements anyway, because I think people rely on them too much. Like they're supplements. It's supplemental. If you're out on the road and you don't have any food or whatever, and you need to grab a protein drink, you're supplementing that because you don't have a meal with you. I think too many times people rely on those. Like people, you ask me all the time, it's like, hey, what do I do? What do I do? How do I do this? Stick to food, food, food. Don't rely on protein drinks and protein bars and all this crap. Food, man, whole food, lean protein, fruits and veggies. Um, when I originally, I was almost 400 pounds. When I originally lost all my weight, this was 20 years ago. The first thing I did was I stopped eating out. I stopped drinking sodas. That was the first thing, right? And everybody's like, "That's such a drastic," and it may have been, but it wasn't that hard, honestly. I baked a lot of food. I stopped buying fast food. If I wanted burgers and stuff like that, I found recipes where I could make them, and they were healthier versions. And I was, making them in my home. I would bake like my burgers, and they were so good. And I taught myself how to cook. Like I looked up all these recipes and I looked up all this stuff. And so yeah, a lot of people. I was like, dude, most people come to me now and they're like, I want to drop some weight. All right, first thing I ask them is like, what do you drink? Do you drink a lot of sugary drinks? You drink a lot of sugary teas, coffee, soda, whatever. Cut it out. Like cold turkey, cut out the soda. right? Like that's, and then most people are like, that's too drastic. That's too drastic. It's not. It's really not. But that's where I start. And you'll cut a lot of water weight just from cutting that sugar. And I tell you, look, if I'm gonna take sugar in, it's gonna be something I eat. I'm gonna eat something sweet. I'm not drinking something sweet because it's empty calories. And most of the time you're eating something along with drinking that, and it's just that's like people are like, well, I'm gonna eat this pile of whatever pizza. I'm gonna go get this large pizza, but I'm gonna drink a diet soda with it. Is that a better decision? Yeah, it's cutting your calories, but honestly, there's so much there that if you drink a regular soda, it's not it's not gonna make a difference anyway. Especially people that are diabetics. Like a lot of people that are diabetics, they don't really understand diabetes. They'll go out and eat, large pizza and diet soda. Why can't have sugar? Well, it just ain't the sugar though, man. Like that. A lot of people need to be educated. It's carbohydrates. It's bread. It's starches. It's stuff like that. All that affects your blood sugar. So it's not just sugar, right? And a lot of people, I don't think, have a grasp. They just don't understand that. So, um, but anyway, man, nothing against people that are into fitness, nothing against people that want to be bodybuilders and you want to do all that. Like I just wish people would stop selling a lot of lies, basically, and um, they false hope, and they're just not. Now, a lot of these people are very transparent. Like, there's plenty of people I follow on Instagram. They're very transparent about everything, and I love that. Like, that's how it should be. Be very transparent about what you do and what you eat. And if you do decide to use performance enhancing drugs, be transparent about it. Don't try to act like you're not. And it's like, yeah, I got this way from chicken and rice. Like I've heard that chicken and rice thing so much to where it's like, yeah, you're it's chicken and rice. You ain't getting that body from chicken and rice. Yeah, your diet's gotta be good, but man, my diet was on point for years, and I had like two abs maybe shown, and I think my lightest was probably like 215, 220. Most of the time my body felt good around like 230. And then I started like getting into, a lot of heavy lifting and all that stuff. So of course my weight went up because I was eating more and I was just training different. Now I just kind of train just to kind of maintain the muscle and a little bit of strength, the strength that I do still have. And I just try to stay active, man. I'm not trying to set records. I used to go to the gym and lift the world, and it's like, you just start having issues, your joints, everything. Nothing lasts forever. So, but again, man, nothing against people that are in the industry, man. Like, I just don't feel like everybody thinks, well, I'm healthy, or everybody thinks because you got 10% body fat, you're healthier than somebody who's at 20, and that's just not true. It's just not. Um, Now, most people think because if you're overweight, you're more prone to certain things, and that may be true. I don't know, but an overweight person, a person that carries extra body fat that exercises, will be in better shape than someone who's skinnier or smaller that doesn't. Anybody that's sedentary, I don't care if you're big, small, obese, thin, whatever. If you're sedentary, you're not going to be healthier than somebody that exercises. I don't care if that person carries 100 more pounds. I don't care. You will be healthier if you exercise than somebody who doesn't. And it doesn't matter how my buddy used to work out with me. He was a big man. He's a very strong dude. He carries weight. He's just how he is. His genetics is the way he is. And that guy's in good shape. He cardiovascular wise, he's better than what most people would think. They never expected. We used to go in there and squat. We'd put like, 3 or 4 plates on a bar, and we wasn't using a regular straight back bar. We're using a safety bar, squat bar, or a camber bar. And if nobody knows what those are, go to the gym, find one, start squatting with it, and you'll see. It's way different than a straight bar back squat. We'd load that up, and then we'd load like 445s on a sled. Not no sled with wheels. A regular sled you push or pull. And we was superset. So we'd squat, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 reps, and then we'd go hit that sled down and back. It was probably Oh, geez. Probably 50 feet down, 50 feet, so 100 foot maybe. I'm terrible with that. Um, yeah, that'd be one set. And that would be our leg day basically. We wouldn't do much else after that. You wouldn't be able to. And man, there was people that would come try to work in with us. Oh man, let me get in. Guys who were a lot leaner than us that were kind of jacked, and didn't have to look like we look. And they couldn't hang with us, man. I put anybody to the test on leg day. Anybody listening, y'all hitting the gym, y'all want to hit legs, come hit leg. Well, probably not much right now, but I'll give you a leg routine. I guarantee you carry your puke bucket because you're probably gonna need it. So just saying. I love fitness, man. I love exercise. I played flag football. I did a lot of stuff to stay in shape for flag. It was a lot of running. So I used to superset sprints with squats all the time. I'd run a lot of hills. I do wind sprint. I did a lot, man, to get to where I was. I'm not as in the shape that I was in. I'm also older, so I had to change the way I worked out because my joints and my body just can't hold up. Like as you age, you can't go at the same intensity. Like if you're going to do 4 sets of whatever, right? You kind of got to scale it back a little bit because you just don't recover as you're older. And I'm not on anything, right? I don't take anything, so I don't have the recovery that you get when you're on steroids or tests or HGAs, whatever. Your recovery's better, so you can go balls through the wall like every day, and you just there's no recovery. Like you bounce right back. So um and I personally don't think I would use anything if I wasn't trying to get like a pro card in bodybuilding or powerlifting or whatever. I personally wouldn't use steroids or HGAs or tests or any of that just to be using it. I don't know, man. There's too many risks involved, and it's like I'm trying to get healthier. Like I'm not, I already have AFib, and a lot of those things, man. A lot of people take their shit and they don't go see a doctor. They don't get their blood work done. They don't know what it's doing. A lot of bodybuilders die in their 40s, man. That's young to die, and or they get kidney failure and liver starts shutting down and heart issues, and it's just too many risks, man. And as long as if you're like, yeah, if I'm living for the day, I don't give a damn about tomorrow. I don't know about my future and this that. Then that's cool, but I don't want to hear no crying and complaining when something happens. I don't want to hear it. Sorry, I probably sound very like an asshole, but if you know the risk involved and you still choose to do it and then something happens to you that could have been avoided, I'm not gonna feel sorry for you. That's just how it is, man. You shouldn't. People know the risk involved. If you drive a car and you ain't got your seatbelt on, you're taking a risk. If you get in an accident, not saying I'm not gonna feel bad for you. I'm very empathetic, but I'm gonna be like, well, you kind of asked for it. All the warning signs are there. You know you shouldn't do it, and you did it anyway, and this is what happened. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's time for open mic mailbag. What y'all think?
For more awesome content, like and subscribe now.
You've got mail.
You've got mail. Open mic mailbag. Mail call. Boop, 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 boop. Let's see what we got. I told y'all I was gonna sing for y'all, didn't I? Maybe I sing a sign off song. What y'all think? Here we go. Serious listener email: parenting and life balance. Subject: balancing it all. Balancing it all. Hey, Mike. I'm a single dad too, and sometimes I feel like I'm drowning trying to balance work, parenting, and even just having 5 minutes for myself. How you deal with the guilt of feeling like you've never doing enough? Love the podcast. You keep it real, and that's what we need more of. Darnell from Pittsburgh. Darnell from Pittsburgh, the Steel City. I appreciate you reaching out, man. And I talk about this a lot. I think part of being a parent is you question everything you do. You sit. I sit awake at night sometimes and think about the day. And it's like, did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing today? Um, the guilt of feeling like you're never doing enough. But you know what that tells me? That tells me, Darnell, you're a good parent. You're a good father. Because if you don't question those things, and I think part of being a parent, and I have friends who have older kids, and they say, and I know it from my mom, you never stop being a parent, man. You never stop caring. And you'll never stop probably questioning if you're doing the right thing. But that tells me you are doing the right thing because you care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't reach out and you wouldn't care about those things. But I promise, man, uh, it's hard to balance everything. You got to find a way. What works for me may not work for you, and what works for other people may not work for me. So you got to kind of figure that out. Um, but yeah, man, just keep on keeping on, man. I think you're doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you care enough to reach out, um, that tells me you're doing the right thing. So just keep it up, brother. I appreciate it. Um, Here we go. Let's do another one.
You've got mail.
That's my dog is a certified banger. Yo, open mic. I just played That's My Dog in my truck on the way to work, and now my neighbor thinks I adopted a pit bull named Leroy. I don't care though. That hook slap. Give us the full track. We need a country hip hop album, bro. Thank you. Big Biscuit Mendez. Good Lord. P.S. Please make merch that says that's my dog. Man, that's a great idea, dude. Big Biscuit Mendez. Man, that's a hell of a name. I'm not gonna lie. Or is it Ty? Oh, I guess your name's Ty. I said T.Y. I thought that was thank you. Ty Big Biscuit Mendez. Well, Big Biscuit, I appreciate you listening to the show, my dog. And yeah, man, I'm gonna give y'all something before we sign off, man. I'm gonna give y'all a little banger. The hook slap. Give us a full track. We need a country hip hop out, man. I'm telling you, Jelly Roll, man, you better watch out, dude. Coming for that. I ain't gonna be called Jelly Roll. I'm gonna be called Swiss Roll. Ty, Big Biscuit. Big Biscuit. I appreciate you reaching out. Yeah, man. Some merch. Yeah, I was working on some merch. Y'all see I got the shirt on right here, but I didn't really like how this was made, and then kind of got sidetracked. So I promise, man, I'm gonna get on the merchandise at some point. Um, let's find a couple more here. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Subject: 1 year since dad. 1 year since dad. Mike, I know you mentioned it's been a year since your dad passed. I'm going through something similar. It's been just over 8 months since I lost mine. I feel guilty when I laugh, guilty when I forget, guilty that I'm still angry. How do you get through the first year? Any advice for people still walking through the fall? Lacey in Baltimore. Lacey in Baltimore. I appreciate you listening to the podcast. I appreciate you emailing. Yeah, don't feel guilty, man. Like, don't feel guilty about laughing, guilty that you forget things from time to time in 8 months. Don't feel guilty that you're still angry. We process grief. Everybody processes grief differently, right? Everybody. And it's um your dad would want you to live your life and be happy and keep doing the things you were doing, right? So don't feel guilty if you have a happy moment, right? Don't feel guilty you forget things that's relating to your dad, because when you lose your dad, losing someone like your father, man, that's there's life changing events, and I feel like losing your parents is a life altering event, you know. And don't feel guilty about that, and you can be angry. Like I said, grief comes in stages, right? And anger is probably one of them. I kind of went through that a little bit myself. um yeah, just getting through that first year. um I have a lot of other things going on in my life that kind of keep me distracted, but I do have moments, and just um I don't know, man. Everybody deals with it differently. Like I said, I've had so much going on, like, and I have things and people in my life that I talk to, and I would suggest you do the same. Like, reach out, and if you need to see a therapist, there's no shame in that. That'll help. Um, um, Memories, man, like positive memories. I have so many positive memories and videos and pictures of my dad. So many that and it helps. It helps. Those things help when you look at those things and just know, like, I don't know the circumstances of your father. My father was 89. He was older and he was tired, man. His body was just he was just I talk about this. We have a start and an end, man. Unfortunately, everything comes to an end. And my dad was 89 and he had lived a great life and raised a big family and he had did a lot of things and his body was tired, man. He was at the end, and it sucks. I'm telling you, it sucks, man. But I rest knowing that my dad lived a good life. He was a good man. He lived out his life, right? No regrets. And so, Lacey, I hope you continue to keep on, man, and keep your head up. I promise. Tough times don't last. It'll get better. It'll get better. Time heals all, as they say. As time goes on, it'll get better. I promise. But I appreciate you listening to the show, and I appreciate you reaching out. Let's see. Here we go.
You've got mail.
Own your part two. TOO. Mike, I respect your honesty about co-parenting life challenges, but I notice you often frame yourself as the one who's always flexible, always trying, always misunderstood. Relationships, even strained ones, are never one-sided. You talk a lot about what others aren't doing, but rarely about your own part. Still rooting for you, but reflection goes both ways. Tasha in Chicago, the Windy City. Yeah, there may be some truth to that. But I've said many times I'm not perfect, right? Like, I make mistakes. But I'm only going to talk about the things that I've done and the things that I do, right? I'm not going to talk about others. Um, I don't feel like I'm one sided. Like, you know, I don't really talk about what others aren't doing either, really. I own it, right? Like, if there's things I'm not going to share on my podcast, right? So I only talk about so much, but no, I'm not always a victim. I'm not always playing victim. I don't know how you come to that conclusion, but man, I don't know. Maybe other people feel the same way she does. If you do, let me know. Mike Podcast 76 at Outlook.com. I'm definitely not always playing victim. I'm at fault in a lot of things and a lot of ways as much as anybody else. So, um, relationships are hard and it takes a lot of work. And I think a lot of problems with relationships these days is somebody's always looking for the next best thing. And the grass is always greener, but they never worry about feeding their own grass. They're just looking on something else. And it sucks. And I'm not saying I was in a situation like that. I'm just saying in general, relationships take a lot of work. And, um, sometimes the other person just checks out. And there's nothing you can do about it. That happens to a lot of people. And, you can reflect and be like, all right, I could have done this, I could have done that. And anyways, I don't think I'm always playing victim. Maybe I am. Who knows? I don't feel that way though. But I do appreciate you listening and I appreciate the email. Let's read one more, man. One more.
You've got mail.
Um, one more here. What we got? Maybe share less. Here we go. Mike, I've been listening since the early episodes, and while I appreciate how open you are, and lately it's starting to feel more like therapy than a podcast. I tune in to relate, not to get emotionally overwhelmed. Maybe dial it back and bring back some humor or guests like you used to. Signed off, just being honest. You didn't put your name to it. No nickname or nothing, just being honest. Yeah, I I talk about a lot of things on my podcast, right? And I talk about a lot of therapy and a lot of, things that people are going through because I feel like people relate to those things. I try to keep it real and relate to people. I'm not out here talking about, politics and, actresses and actors and things in the news and all that stuff, which I could, right? If people want to hear that. But I don't feel like people relate to that. I think people relate to real life things, right? And I try to keep it real. And if you can't relate to that, then maybe this ain't the podcast for you. I do appreciate you listening. I appreciate you reaching out. Um, but I feel like I get a little bit of humor in. I get a little bit of, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of everything. Um, I don't know if it feels like a therapy more than a podcast, but um, emotionally overwhelmed. I'm sorry you feel that way, but at least it makes you feel some kind of way. Um, but maybe you can come be a guest on the show. You didn't give me a name, but whoever sent this email, if you're listening, open mic podcast 76 at outlook.com. Clearly, you know the email address. Email me. You can be a guest on the show. Let's talk about some things. Let's talk about some humor. Let's talk about let's talk about some stuff. But anyway, that's the last email.
You've got mail.
Open my mailbag. Like I said, I'm gonna sing a banger for y'all before we sign off. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got into the thing. All right, here we go. I don't know. Maybe this will be a country one too. What y'all think? What y'all feeling? Get some water. Me, blah, 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 blah. Get my voice going. Me. This is a test. Testing. All right, y'all ready? Well, that's our show. It's time to go. We laugh, we learn, we let it flow. From weird news bits to hot takes to open mics, the spot for you. Mics going down, but we'll look back with stories wild and slightly whack. So hit subscribe, don't miss the ride. It's the open mic. We speak our mind. See you next time. Same place, same vibe. Open mic out. Remember, tough times don't laugh. Tough people do. Peace. Enjoy your 4th of July. Everybody be safe. Don't blow no fingers off. Check y'all next week. Peace.